As a child, you would have dreamed about having superpowers. Maybe you could fly, or read minds, or become invisible. We all knew they would never happen, but what if it could by merely reading a few novels? From summoning headless demons to healing maladies, here are 10 magic books that promise real powers. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. That being said, let's begin. Number 10. The Necronomicon. The Necronomicon is a textbook of magic, also known as a fictional grimoire, that appeared in H.P. Lovecraft's books and those of his followers. The famous horror story author claimed that the Necronomicon was fictional, but others aren't convinced. The book, which supposedly contained a lot of occult wisdom and knowledge, may appear on the surface as fictional, but if you dig a little deeper, there's information that predates his fiction. There are plenty of references within the book that shows he likely drew inspiration for the textbook of magic from elsewhere. The Necronomicon was first mentioned in a short story by Lovecraft in 1922 called The Hound. The Necronomicon's supposed author Abdul al-Hazred, or the Mad Arab, was quoted in other works by Lovecraft called The Nameless City. In essence, the book talks about summoning and is also referred to as the Book of the Dead or the Book of Pure Evil. It's thought to originate from the Arab country of Yemen and is written in blood with a cloak of human flesh and Judas's foreskin. It might be fiction, but that doesn't stop other people from trying to make it a real book with real power. It's cited in many other authors' works, and both booksellers and librarians have received requests for it. Some funny pranksters even put a card for it in the Yale University card catalog and also listed it in the Rare Books catalog too. Number 9. The Sworn Book of Honorius. Do you want to conjure or command demons? How about being able to find treasure or save your soul from purgatory? Those are the offerings from the Sworn Book of Honorius, or so the legend goes. The Sworn Book of Honorius, which also goes by the name of Liber Juratus Honori in Latin, is a medieval grimoire written by Honorius of Thebes. It's thought that this book is not only the oldest of its kind, but is also one of the more influential magic books that promise real powers too. How old this book is, no one knows for sure, but there's a historical record of it back to the 13th century. Some old manuscripts and records show this book was used in necromancy, a practice for communicating with the dead. How this book came to be in existence and offer real powers is also unknown. However, some people speculate that magicians had decided to create the book using all of their knowledge combined. It has 93 chapters and consists of one volume. If you read it, you can learn how to save your soul from purgatory, catch thieves, and find treasure. If that's not enough power, then how about learning how to conjure demons and make them control magical spells? You may even be able to use this book to find out what's in heaven, something that most people can only aspire to learn. Given the significant number of instructions for angelic powers and how to gain them, this book earns its title as a Solomonic grimoire. That means it's similar to the Key of Solomon. Number 8. Greek Magical Papyri. Have you ever felt like there's more to life than what you're doing or what's currently within your power? You could seek more with the help of Greek Magical Papyri. This book from the 2nd century before Christ is full of helpful information to help you become more than you are now. No, it's not a self-help book, but it supposedly offers real powers. The Greek Magical Papyri offers real spells, divination instructions, and rituals that you can use to open the doors to the underworld. It's also reasonably descriptive on how to summon headless demons if one with a head isn't terrifying enough. If you happen to strike a wild beast or two in your lifetime, then Greek Magical Papyri can supposedly help protect you from these as well. You could also use this book to summon up a supernatural helper from the underworld who will do whatever you want. It's like having a ghostly slave that doesn't cost you anything except maybe your soul. Some of the more common spells in this book, however, relate to divination. You can learn how to conduct ceremonies to offer visions of the future, or even forecast events using frankincense, an iron lampstand, and a pure child. Want to travel through the higher planes of existence? You guessed it. Greek Magical Papyri can supposedly offer a guide for how to achieve this as well. Number 7. Arbitel de Magia Veterum. Magic books aren't all about summoning demons and asking ghostly assistants to do your bidding. Instead, they can also be about honest and honorable living. That's what's on offer when you read through the book of Arbitel de Magia Veterum. This book, which roughly translates to Of the Magic of the Ancients, is a textbook of magic from the Renaissance period. While many other books of its time focus on malicious spells and dark magic, this one is quite the opposite. Those who read it can learn valuable spiritual advice and guidance from an anonymous author from 1575 AD. This book also focuses on nature, a celestial hierarchy, and beneficial relationships between humans on Earth and those who have passed. Arbitel de Magia is a far cry from similar books offering step-by-step guides on how to welcome headless demons into your home. Number 6. Abramelin the Mage. Knowledge is one of the most powerful things you can have, and Abramelin the Mage may be able to provide the attributes you desire. The Book of Abramelin the Mage is an autobiography, supposedly, on a man only known as Abraham of the Worms. Abraham was thought to exist in the 14th and 15th centuries as a German Jew with both magical powers and Kabbalistic knowledge. This form of knowledge is supposed to explain the connection between God and the finite universe. The storybook follows Abraham, who passes on his powers and knowledge to his son, Lamech. Abraham gave him instructions on how to acquire the Holy Kabbalah and ways in which to gain wisdom for himself. Abramelin the Mage also details how Abraham traveled to Mayence to study under Moses the rabbi, before eventually traveling to Egypt. The rabbi also supposedly gave Abraham manuscripts which highlighted elaborate rituals for knowledge and conversations with guardian angels. If you want to learn how to blind demons, Abramelin the Mage will indulge you with this helpful information too. Number 5. The Black Pullet. Trying to find true love with no luck? Have you always wanted to see behind closed doors? Wish no more, for the Black Pullet might just provide the answers. This 18th century French book is designed to enlighten the reader on the use and creation of magical talismans. Once engraved with unique words, they're supposed to empower and protect the wearer. Legend has it that the Black Pullet was written by a Napoleon army officer who received advice and knowledge from an Egyptian mage or magic practitioner. Upon reading the book, you'll find everything you need to know about creating magical talismans out of materials such as silk, ink, and bronzed steel. You can also learn how to evoke a smoke and fire creature known as a djinn who will locate and bring your true love to you. If you have something a little less innocent in mind, then the Black Pullet can possibly help with that as well. There are talisman directions for how to seek justice for those who plot against you, see behind closed doors, and force secrets from discreet men. Number 4. The Picatrix. The Picatrix is not a book for the faint-hearted, and as most movie introductions say, viewer discretion is advised. The Picatrix is a magic book that dates back to the 11th century. While it was originally written in Arabic, both its contents and title of Gayat al-Hakim have since been translated into English. However, maybe it's best that it wasn't. The 400-page book, which is laden with astrological information, covers spells, incantations, and instructions for how to channel planet occult energy. If you want to achieve enlightenment and power, this is the right book for the job. However, if you've got a weak stomach, now's the time to turn this video off. The magic recipes within this book call for some pretty horrific ingredients that you can't pick up from your local grocery store. To achieve an altered state of consciousness or experience an out-of-body moment, you have to be willing to track down a whole host of materials. Blood, brain matter, bodily excretions, and even psychoactive plants all make the list. With this shopping cart full of items and others such as sperm, spit, tears, urine, and earwax, you can then build a mirror for power over the dead. Number 3. Ars Almadel. Not every magic book has to promote malicious spells to cause harm to others, and this is one such book. The Ars Almadel, which is one of 4 books of the Lesser Key of Solomon, is a grimoire of demonology full of complex information for angel communication. It was compiled by an anonymous author from the 17th century and outlined how to create a magical wax altar, not all too dissimilar from a Ouija board, as a way to talk with angels. Once you've mastered that arts and crafts project, you can then move on to learn more about 4 altitudes and the angels within different domains. The book goes into details about angelic living, including names of angels and how to talk to them. It does warn, however, that what you speak to them about has to be both lawful and just. Number 2. False Hierarchy of Demons. The False Hierarchy of Demons is a 16th century compendium that also goes by the name of Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum. The book both outlines a directory of 69 demon names, but also how everyday tricksters were wrongly accused of being witches. The Demonology and Witchcraft book, produced by Johann Weyer, is a fascinating depiction of the trials and tribulations that supposed witches faced in society. Johann was an occult practitioner and doctor of the 15th century who learned all there is to know about occultism, magic, and theology from an expert in the field, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. After appearing in a fortune teller's court case to offer his opinion, he began dedicating his life to defending anyone who had been accused of practicing witchcraft. The book also outlines the illusionist powers of witches and demons and how they can play tricks on people, but how the majority of those on trial were common folk. Johann's goal with his magic book was to provide education to filter out the guilty from the innocent. No one knows for sure whether his expert advice on the matter was ever used in a court case. Number 1. Galdrabach. Want to inflict a non-stop farting spell on your enemies? How about curing insomnia or fatigue, or getting the upper hand in a legal case? It might be the time to study the 16th century Icelandic grimoire known as Galdrabach. This book details 47 different spells from a myriad of magicians. The majority of these spells require the use of magical runes and staves, which you might not find all that easy to hunt out in your local retail store. Galdrabach covers everything from how to attract powerful men and put someone to sleep to making your enemies fear you and inflicting the death of a pet upon your enemy. If you want to cause harm to someone but not on a deep and meaningful level, then this magic book can even teach you how to make sure your enemy has terrible gas. The Fart Rune spell is all about plaguing thy belly with great farting. May thy farting never stop. These magic books are not your standard instructional guides. Some are dangerous, disturbing, and downright dark. Have you ever seen a spooky spell book for yourself? Have you tried any spells? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.